But the update is there's a battle going on, creation versus evolution. And last May I gave this talk here in April, Prepare for the Battle. We told you what powerful evolutionists have planned for humanity. And YouTube likes to censor those, so everybody can take one of my cards. These are my creation talks on YouTube. And if you want to hear the politically incorrect talks, it's on Rumble. Just email me and I'll send you the channel. It's education, not indoctrination. But I spoke in Nebraska at their creation conference. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I was interviewed on a Denver radio station, RSR, Real Science Radio, and it's broadcast on a Denver radio station. It's called The Great Reset and Hackable Animals. And so, yeah, it's a battle. I mean, this is motivating what they have planned for humanity. And it's I don't want to say frightening because we're supposed to fear not. This is motivating. I'm trying to share this message wherever I can, and I've given it 3 or 4 times at churches in Wisconsin and Minnesota over the summer, and I'll be doing this later. I'll get into that. Oh, and one of the guys listened to that interview and emailed the host, and he said he's binge watching the Solidify Your Faith videos. I can't stop. They're great, is what he said. And my friend John, he was here a few months ago, and he did the same thing. He started watching my talks, and he couldn't stop, and he couldn't sleep that night. So we watched them all night, and it happened to me even. It's like, I gave the talk. I know what's in it. And I started watching. I watched 2 of them one night. And so, so whatever. And then in the summer, I was helped with our vacation Bible school. Good day, mates, and welcome to Australia. We taught them 3 questions, where'd that come from? How do you know that? And how'd life begin? You can ask those questions to evolutionists, and they have a real hard time. They can't answer how life began. So you can ask something to the most brilliant evolutionist in the world, and you'll stump them. Where'd matter come from? How did life begin? And then I was actually in the University of Illinois, Chicago students are here, and I gave them a couple of talks, 2 Fridays. One was, who am I? What am I? What am I worth? Where am I going? Why am I here? And if you're an evolutionist or an atheist or a creationist, you're going to have 2 totally different sets of answers for that. And then I gave a hydroplate theory talk. That one was very interesting. I'll be doing that next month. And in the summer, anybody ever been to Living Water Bible Camp down by Westby? This is just a piece of it. It's just really neat. They made those covered wagons, and this is where it is. It's just the neatest setting. And their motto is explore, discover, wonder, worship. When we explore, we'll discover, and then we'll wonder about it. It's like, how does that butterfly put itself together? Because that can't happen by step-by-step, chance, random mutations. And then you end up worshiping the creator of the butterfly. And just, again, a neat setting. And I was there for a Wisconsin creation adventure. And so this was actually a berm at one time holding back a lake, and there was a big flood, and it washed it all away. And so the water can do a lot of damage in a small amount of time. So I was there for a couple of 2 or 3 days listening to PhD scientists and real famous, really good at creationists. And then we took a road trip to Baraboo and took a look at, it's one of the most unique places on Earth. You see, to the left of it, to the west, it's all these hills and really steep valleys and hills and stuff, but to the east of it, to the right, it's all pretty flat. That's because to the right, it was covered with a glacier. And they're right on the line. That shape around it, it's kind of like a circle. They call it a canoe shape. Do you see that green part? That's very interesting because that's where the Earth pushed up. And this is one of the rocks it pushed up. This is Van Nuys rock by Baraboo, and it's like black on one side and it's white on the other side. Like, so how did that happen over millions of years? And then you look at some of these rocks and they have ripples in them. That was the bottom of a river or bottom of a lake at one time. And then what's very fascinating is they're vertical, some of them. You can't see it real well, but do you see those ripples on that rock? That rock is vertical. There was enough force to push a lake bed straight up and down. How in the world does that happen? And then you can see a little bit better right here. It was just a really, really neat trip. My favorite part was this Parphrase Glen. You walk through this stuff, I mean, it just got gouged out real fast. Notice that bottom layer, that's quartzite, and then that top layer, there's a bunch of rocks and mud flow on top of it. And it's, how does that happen? It was a big flood. And there was a stream there. It was so much fun walking in the stream. I don't know if you ever did the stick thing in a current when you were a kid. It's just just is for a mile doing that. It's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, you get these boulders up there, and it was a mud flow that stopped rapidly. Otherwise, all the sand would have washed away. So it's something that happened rapidly, and there's the great unconformity. This is at Devil's Lake State Park. And down on the bottom, that's that quartzite. You can see that same layer of quartzite at the bottom of Grand Canyon. And then you see this layer of sedimentary rock on top of it. And so something happened in the past. And I had a booth at the fair, and I was trying to get people to realize what was going on. And Ox from Ox in the Afternoon KNSI, he interviewed me. I gave this talk up, What's Wrong with Our Textbooks, up in Ashland, Wisconsin. And a lot of these talks show up on my YouTube channel, so if you're interested. And then a California club had me give this hydroplate theory talk in September, and that's a really neat theory. I mean, I don't know, has anybody ever heard of the hydroplate? Oh my, that colored in the details for me. It just, Kent Hovind, I saw his Age of the Earth, and that connected the dots. The Bible's true, and the evolutionists are lying, and it's based on lies. And then I listened to Walt Brown Week on rsr.org, Real Science Radio, and that just colored in all the details. It answers 25 major features on Earth and in the solar system. Plus, he makes accurate predictions that are astounding, like what's in a comet, why are there rounded boulders. So that's a good one. And I'm trying to get Walt the credit he deserves. It's been swept under the rug, so you can check that out. I'm going to be, next month, I'll be giving that Prepare for the Battle talk at that same creation out in California. And Sioux Falls invited me, South Dakota Health Freedom, they invited me to give a talk at their Hold Summit, Health, Ownership, and Liberty Development. And so that's kind of what's happening. We'll move on to current events.